This tutorial is going to discuss how to use power as a target for building a structured workout if you're using the new workout builder in Final Surge. So for this example, I'm going to use a bike workout, but if you run with power, if you have a Stride power meter on your shoe, you can also build power workouts for running. But we're going to look at this bike workout as our example here. So I'm going to click on my bike workout. Here's what the workout is. Got some FTP intervals. I'm going to come down here to Workout Builder, click on that, and it's going to open that up. So first, this is going to be a power-based workout. So I'm going to select power, and by doing this, it's going to be compatible with these devices. One caveat being that Zwift only uses percentage of FTP. So if you do build a power workout with absolute values or your zones, then this workout's only going to be compatible with Garmin and Wahoo and not Zwift. So that is how that works. So select power. I'm going to come up here, and the first thing you'll notice is my FTP is blank. I have not set up an FTP yet. So there's two ways to do that. First, you can just click this edit icon. You can type in your FTP and watch there. Or if you attempt to use the percentage of FTP and click on that, it's going to notice, hey, you don't have an FTP, type that in. So I'll just go ahead and type in, let's say it's 250, and we'll save that. So now we can start building our workout. So in this workout, I've got a 10-minute warm-up, a 10-minute cool-down, so I can go ahead and put that in the warm-up, put that in the cool-down. And then it looks like I've got 3 sets of these various intervals. So there's going to be 5 steps here. So right here, I'm going to change this to 3 for my 3 sets. And then I need to add 4 more intervals to include this. So I'm just going to say add new step. And then I've got my 5th one right there. So I've got my 5 intervals and then my recovery one, which are right here, which is the rest step. So the first way to build workouts is to use absolute values. So if I know the specific wattage I want to hold, I can click this power target value. So let's say for my warm up, I wanted to do just 150 to 175. I would use those absolute values, and then I could again click this here and put in absolute values for these specific steps if I wanted to do it that way. Then I can get rid of these by clicking the X, and that will remove those. The second way to set up power workouts is by using your power zones that you have set up in Final Surge. So these are my power zones I've set up on the bike. Now, if I want to edit those zones, I can click this Setup Zones, and it's going to open up this modal window and allow me to edit my zones. So here I would be editing my bike zones, and then when I update those, that'll be reflected in the drop down here. So I could say, I just want to warm up at my active recovery. I'm going to do my my repeats at let's say my anaerobic capacity or my VO2 max zones. So that's how I would do a zone-based workout by clicking that. And then finally, we can use a percentage of FTP. So now that my FTP is typed in, for instance, this says 10 minutes riding zone 1. So here, if it's just going to be an easy percentage of my FTP, let's say 50 to 60%. The second one is 2 minutes at 95% of my FTP. So here I'm going to type in 2 minutes. And I'm going to select 95. Now I could just put 95 in both if I want to be exact 95 for that step, or I could give myself a little bit of a range and say 95 to 97. And as you see here, that's going to be 238 watts to 243 watts based off of my FTP value here. So for the next set, it's going to be 1 minute, and that's going to be at 105% FTP or 105% plus. So we'll say 105 to 110. The next step is going to be 2 minutes, and that's going to be at 95% again. So we'll do the 95 to 97. The next step is going to be 1 minute. That's going to be at 105 plus again. And then the final step is going to be 2 minutes at 95% again. So I'll go to 97. And then this final step, 4-minute recovery between rounds, so 50 to 60% of your FTP. So we'll say 4 minutes and 50 to 60%. So I'm going to be repeating that 3 times, and as you see, that is reflected down here in the chart. And then finally, my cooldown, it says zone 1, so I can just say again, 50 to 60% there, and it's going to build that workout. So I'm now going to save this. And now that I've saved the workout, it's going to show me this the chart, the summary of it, and it's going to go through all the steps again and show me what those exact wattages is based off my FTP. And then if I want to download this workout, I would click here, and because it is just a percent of FTP, it's going to allow me to download it in both FIT and ZWO format for Zwift as well. So I can download those right here simply by clicking on the format that I want.